Yo, what's going on, man? Appreciate y'all for tapping back in. Welcome to another episode of South Ent Stories, man. We're gonna get right on into it. It was a time when it seemed like Tevin Campbell was everywhere. If you grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, seemed like you couldn't escape his voice, man. Every radio station was playing him. Every award show wanted him on the stage. And for a while, it seemed like he was going to be the next biggest thing in R&B. He had it all, man. He had the voice. He had the songs. He had legendary production behind him. But it seemed like just as fast as he rose to the top, he disappeared. So what actually happened to him, man? We're going to get into it right now. Before he became one of R&B's brightest young stars, Tevin Campbell was just a kid from Waxahachie, Texas. Even as a child, people noticed there was something special about his voice. He started singing in church, and it didn't take long before local talent shows became too small to hold him. Word eventually spread beyond Texas. One of the people who heard about this incredible young singer was jazz musician Bobby Humphrey. She believed Tevin had superstar potential. Instead of keeping him a local secret, she introduced him to one of the biggest names in music, Quincy Jones. That introduction would change his life forever. Quincy Jones had already worked with some of the greatest artists in music history. When someone with that level of experience believes in you, people pay attention. Tevin was invited to sing on Quincy Jones' 1989 album, Back on the Block. His performance on Tomorrow, A Better You, Better Me, shocked listeners. Nobody could believe a voice that powerful belonged to someone so young. The song became a huge success and immediately introduced Tevin Campbell to the world. Almost overnight, a new R&B star had arrived. Think about how rare that is. Most people spend years trying to get noticed. Tevin Campbell's career basically started with Quincy Jones co-signing him. That's almost like immediately being drafted into the Hall of Fame. People immediately knew it was something special about him. Soon after, Tevin signed with Warner Brothers Records. In 1991, he released his album Tevin, and it delivered. Songs like Tell Me What You Want Me to Do, Along With You, and Goodbye helped establish him as one of R&B's brightest young stars. His voice was mature beyond his years. He wasn't trying to imitate anybody. He sounded like Tevin Campbell. Critics loved him. Fans loved him. Award nominations started piling up. The future looked unlimited. By the early 1990s, Tevin Campbell had become one of the faces of modern R&B. Then came one of the biggest moments of his career. In 1993, he released I'm Ready. For many fans, this wasn't just his best album. It became one of the defining R&B albums of the decade. The title track, I'm Ready, became an instant classic. So in Love, Can We Talk, hit after hit. And let's be honest, Can We Talk is still played today. It's one of those songs that never really left. If you ever been to a wedding, a family reunion, a cookout, you've probably heard somebody singing that chorus. And this is what made Tevin different. He wasn't just making hits. He actually could sing. No studio tricks, no heavy effects, just pure talent. Go back and watch some of his live performances. You'll see what I'm talking about. His voice was the real deal. Tevin wasn't limited to recording albums. He also crossed over into television. Many people remember him from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He even voiced Powerline in Disney's A Goofy movie. Now, here's something funny. It's people who grew up loving Powerline and had absolutely no idea they were listening to Tevin Campbell. That role became legendary all by itself. Even today, Powerline merchandise still sells. Fans still dress up as Powerline at conventions. That's how much of a cultural impact it had. But while Tevin was still making music, R&B was changing. The sound was becoming harder. Hip-hop was becoming more dominant. Record labels started chasing different artists. A younger generation was arriving. Artists like Usher, Monica, Brandy, Aaliyah, and eventually countless others began changing what mainstream R&B looked like. Competition became fierce. The music industry moves fast. Sometimes it's not about talent. Sometimes it's simply about timing. That's something people forget. You can be incredibly talented, but the industry can still continue to keep changing all around you. That happened to a lot of artists from that era. As the years went on, Tevin also faced personal challenges away from music. Like many artists who become famous at a young age, growing up in the spotlight wasn't easy. The pressure, the expectations, constant public attention, those things can wear on anybody. His recording career slowed. Public appearances became less frequent. Eventually, many fans started asking, what happened to Tevin Campbell? The truth is, he never completely disappeared. He continued performing. He continued singing. He simply chose a different pace than the one the public had grown accustomed to. Over the last several years, something interesting has happened. A whole new generation has discovered Tevin Campbell. Social media clips, streaming platforms, TikTok, YouTube, have all introduced his music to younger listeners who weren't even born during his biggest hits. Can We Talk has become timeless. His live performances continue to go viral, and many people now appreciate just how gifted he really was. Sometimes, time gives artists the respect they didn't fully receive during their careers. Yeah, man. So, Tevin Campbell's career really ain't about failure. I think it's more so about how quickly the music industry changed. 1 minute you the future, the next minute the industry it's already done moved on. But great music, it never disappears, and neither does real talent. That's why people still listen to Tevin Campbell to this day. His catalog still hold up. His voice still holds up, and his place in R&B history is gonna be forever secure. But now I want to hear from y'all, man. Do you think Tevin Campbell was one of the best, one of the better artists of the early 90s or whatever? Or do you think he never got the credit that he really deserves, man? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. And once again, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with another episode of South Ent Stories. Y'all keep rocking with your boy, man. And y'all tap into the movement, man. SouthEntMusic.com, man. And until next time, peace.